Well, today we're at the Everglades National Park, our third national park of the year.
But our first one to actually get to explore.
This is true.
The visitor center was closed at Hot Springs, so we wandered the streets, which is the city, so it wasn't like exploring a park. And Biscayne is all water, so we saw the visitor center and the water, and one short little trail, and that's it. So.
And lucky for us, this is the dry season, so most of the animals are out.
Yes.
When it's not raining.
It's the dry season, but it's just a bit misty right now.
The birds are kind of chilling out. We haven't seen any alligators yet, but you know, maybe when the sun comes out, we'll see some
Florida,
stuff.
so who knows?
Yeah. So most of the hiking trails in the Florida parks are boardwalks, such as this, because, well, I guess a misnomer is that's all swamp. The ranger said when we were listening to him talk that the Everglades is actually a river. It's something like 16 miles wide and 700 miles long because it does flow, and they're doing conservation to increase that flow and bring it back to its normal water flow. I guess it's been an 80-year drought in this area. Of course, it's all marshy, so you wouldn't really notice that, but they're really trying to get the freshwater conservation back up. Otherwise, the salt water is going to come in and salinate all of the fresh water, and over 8 million people will be affected, and all kinds of wildlife. So the problem is Miami residents get their fresh water from the Everglades. Whenever the salt water comes in and salinates fresh water, that creates havoc for wildlife, plants, and people, because not only will they have to purify the water, they'll have to desalinate the water, which is a really expensive process.
Doesn't sound good.
They've put in place a 35-year plan with over $8 billion funding to do all this, to work on the reclamation, I guess. This is year 20, and they think it's going to last quite a bit longer than 35 years. So they're looking at options to re-up that.
And all this started happening because they were trying to basically drain it, right?
Drain the swamp.
Drain the swamp.
Most of it was deemed unfit. They were cutting it down for all different kinds of reasons, clearing it out for harbors and
homes. Urbanization was one of the reasons I read.
And clearing out the mangroves basically disrupts the ecosystem, and that's what they're trying to fix. I guess the Tamiami Highway is undergoing a huge project. They're elevating the highway and putting in several, I call them whistles, culverts under the highway. They're 9 feet in diameter to help increase the water flow and help toward that effort.
And they have made improvements in that area. It's just, it's taking longer than they anticipated, and just basically not going as fast as they had thought it might. So.
Yep. Gumbo Limbo Trail. 0.4 mile trail. Tunnels through the rainforest, I guess you want to call it here. It's raining and we're in the forest.
Yes. According to what I just read, Hurricane
Michael?
I think, really changed the landscape of this area. So it's not quite as dense as it used to be. It's a little bit more open and light filled.
See what we can see. I think it's one of the trees that was uprooted by Hurricane Michael.
Oh yeah.
It's similar to this tree. Shooting right into the sun, so it's going to glare up there.
So maybe that's the Gumbo Limbo tree.
Maybe the Gumbo Limbo tree.
Maybe.
One of the things we've had to somewhat adapt to is the mental model of a trail. Normally when we go hiking on trails, they're dirt trails or stuff like that. Over here so far in the Everglades, it's paved or right on Boardwalk. So still hiking.
Yeah.
Oh look, a vine.
Strangler fig. This tree has an amazing development. Fig seeds lodged in crevices on rough barked branches of other trees grow into temporary air plants. Descending roots entwine the host tree in their quest for soil. As the fig roots thicken and the host tree attempts to grow, the growing layers are choked off and the host eventually dies. The fig, a more effective competitor, is left alone in the sun.
We are now at the Flamingo Visitor Center at the far end of Everglades National Park. And I do believe these are ibises. If I'm wrong, I'm sure we can correct that. But that's cool. So a couple of the things that attract people to Flamingo are flamingos, the scarlet spoonbill.
Rosette. The Rosette Spoonbill.
All right, pink birds.
Pink birds.
And manatees. Oh, there's another one out there, huh?
He's right there between that post and the fire.
Mm-hmm. There's another one on out. Right there. So we were able to see the snout of a manatee.
And maybe a fin.
And maybe a fin. But I think the highlight of today's trip was she finally got
the Rosette Spoonbill. I'm so excited.
So I think it's been, what, 4 hours in the park?
Yeah, it's been at least 4 hours, I think.
We got here at 9-ish. Yeah. And it's 1:22 now.
Yep.
So I think we've seen all that we can see.
Yes, when you come into the Ernest F. Coe Visitor Center entrance and then drive to Flamingo Visitor Center, that's what we've done today. We did the hike on the Anhinga Trail and the Gumbo Limbo Trail and walked around the Flamingo Visitor Center and then stopped for the bird sighting along the road, which was really good. Everglades is a great national park to visit, so make sure you come.